I lost my daughter in 2020. And my son said, "Mom, you got to stop crying. You go to work, you cry, you come back, you cry. You have to stop." And I said, "I just don't know how to get back to good, son." I was going through the darkest. I was so depressed. I didn't want to die, but I didn't want to live. I was in a fog. And I had the heart attack. And my daughter came to me, my daughter, the one that passed, and she said, "Mom, you got to start living." And then I saw a video, I started watching you, and you were talking to Bill. And you go, it was the video, and you go, "Come on, Bill, you can do this.
Bill, you can do this. Do it, Bill. Do it. You got this."
And I was just like everybody else, probably just all, "You can do this, Bill." And I thought, well, if he could do this. And, when he was crying, and he was just so despaired, even though there was such a weight difference, we were coming from the same place. We were just hurt and darkness and despair. It was horrible. And then I watched it and I said, I think I could do this.
Hello and welcome. Carrie here from Healing Humanity, the Power of a Proper Human Diet. And today I am thankful, grateful, blessed to welcome Shannon to the channel. Shannon, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Nervous, but good.
Yeah, no worries. No need to be nervous. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to sharing your story. You told me a little bit about it via email, but I'm interested in learning more. I always love doing these videos because your story, Shannon, is going to inspire someone that can relate to you that my story might not inspire. And
Yes.
After we do this and launch it, you'll see we'll get a whole bunch of comments where, "Shannon, you really inspired me maybe to find healing or to do this." So it's usually a lot of fun. Maybe if we could start out, Shannon, could you tell me a little bit, like, what led you to do a carnivore diet? Oftentimes people are struggling or they need healing or for one reason or another. What sort of led you on the path to find carnivore diet?
Well, I think I have to start off with, I lost my daughter in 2020. And I was going through the darkest. It was just, I was so depressed. I didn't want to die, but I didn't want to live. I had other children. I had my two daughters and my son. But that was just not in my head. I just was so depressed. And I ended up having a heart attack. And it was funny because my son, like 2 weeks before, we were looking at Lisa Marie, and she died of a heart attack. But he goes, "Mom, why does she look like that?" And I said, "Jonah, it's broken heart syndrome. It just, your heart is broken." And then she died 2 weeks later. And then it was the night before I had my heart attack, and my son said, "Mom, you got to stop crying. You go to work, you cry, you come back, you cry. You have to stop." And I said, "I just don't know how to get back to good, son. I don't." And he said, I will help you. I'll help you." And I lived in a house or an apartment. I never decorated it. I just didn't, I was in a fog. And I had the heart attack. And then when I was in ICU, and my daughter came to me, and my daughter, the one that passed, and then she said, "Mom, you got to start living. You got to stop this. You got to live for the siblings." And when I got out of ICU, and they sent me home from the hospital, I had all these pills, all these bottles of pills that I couldn't even understand when to take them, what they were for, oxygen. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with all this. And I was in bed all the time recuperating, and I was listening to Jordan Peterson, I love him so much. Anyway, and I thought, well, if he could do this. And, when he was crying, and he was just so despaired, even though there was such a weight difference, we were coming from the same place. We were just hurt and darkness and despair. It was horrible. And then I watched it and I said, I think I could do this. But you were still waiting for him, a call back. And then I had a friend, and his name is Bobby Moore. And he he was like really bad. He was huge before 2020. He was huge, doing pills all the time. And he got his life together. He's a trainer now. And he texted me and then I texted him back and I said, I feel like I have one good run left in me. I feel like I'm too young for this. And he said, I go, do you think it's too, I'm a cocktail waitress. So that's you're just hauling alcohol all, for 8 hours. And people are saying, get on Social Security, you could do Social Security now. And I felt like I was just going to spiral down to nothing. And I said, Bobby, do you think I have one more good run in you? And he goes, it's not too late until you die. It's never too late. And so he said, when you're released from the doctors, I will work with you. We'll build you from ankles up. And then, so he was waiting on me. And then I saw the bill thing and I started the carnivore diet the same day he did. And I said, I will give it 2 weeks, just 2 weeks. And so I started it and I felt so good. And I started walking in the morning, early in the morning in the darkness, but I felt so good. And I got up one morning and I started walking and it was just like all this energy and all this goodness I didn't know what to do with. And I was on the phone with my sister, Kelly, and we're talking and I'm all just like so motivated. And I ended up falling. I broke my arm in 2 places. My face was all bashed in. It was all black and blue, but I felt so good and I didn't know what to do. It was all that energy. In 2 weeks. So blood's all dripping and I had to roll to the side of the side of the street. So nobody, luckily it was so early. And I tried to call my son to get me, to help me. And it was like blood was just dripping on my phone. And he came and he got me, he lifted me up because I couldn't get up. And I go, is it really that bad? And he goes, no, you're fine. You're fine. We passed my house and I go, I live. And he goes, we're going to the ER. And then I broke my arm in 2 places. But the thing was, and I was ready to go. I wanted to go back to work so bad. I didn't want to go on Social Security. And if people have to do that, that's good. But I just felt like I had one more run left in me. So the thing was, I was supposed to go back to work in 2 months, and I was trying to get my body ready for that. I healed so fast, and my arm healed fast. I still looked like somebody beat me. Nobody wanted to go in public with me because people would look at them like, you beat her. But I healed so fast, and when I went back to work, it didn't hurt. I have to carry trays. Nothing hurt. That was amazing itself. I have RA. So when I always had this, it felt like somebody hit me or took a knife and stabbed me in my hand. And sometimes I would turn it and I would like do this, ugly cringe because I couldn't help myself. That went away. My pain went away. It was amazing. And then I turned into that weirdo that was so excited about it. And people would like see me coming. I just had to talk about it all the time. And I understand that it's weird if you don't know what I'm talking about. But it was like, I could see people coming going, ugh, because it was like, hi, I only eat meat and blah, 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 and I feel so good. And the people at work would go, I know, but my heart doctor doesn't want me to do that. And I was on a whole bunch of medication. Oh, but I'm sorry, because I'm skipping back. But when I went, before they released me to work, I went to the heart doctor and they did all these tests on me. And he goes, it is amazing how good you're doing. And he goes, you just keep on taking what you're taking and doing what you're doing. And I go, I'm not on any of that medication.
Quick interruption. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in learning more about our documentary, Healing Humanity, The Power of a Proper Human Diet, or supporting it, please visit donate.healinghumanity.movie. Our goal is to reach millions of people that are hopeless right now and sharing the examples of real people over the course of 1 year that are undertaking a proper human diet to overcome obesity, type 2 diabetes, depression, anxiety, fertility issues. We couldn't do it without you. We thank you so much. We are also selling these shirts, Healing Humanity, The Power of a Proper Human Diet. Every penny we get from those goes towards the documentary. And last, we have memberships. If you click the little join button. It's best to do it on desktop. Under any one of my YouTube videos, you can join and become a member. We have hundreds of members right now. We do members only videos. We do members only behind the scenes. You can email me as a member and I'll answer you. And every penny from that goes to support the documentary. And the last thing is we have these Redmond's portable salt shakers. These things are awesome. You can get the best salt. You can take it with you. We sell these on the website along with our water bottles and cutting boards, and every penny from all of those goes 100% towards supporting the documentary. You can also sign up for our newsletter, which is completely free. All of these links are in the description below. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to today's video.
And he goes, what? And I go, I'm not taking anything. It's not even blood thinner. I go, no, nothing. And he goes, there's always one. He goes, well, keep on what you're doing. And he goes, what are you doing? And I said, I'm doing carnivore. And he goes, don't go out there and tell my keto people that are waiting for me to come in. And I go, okay, I won't. Because I did keto for like a year, and I lived off all their snack junk. That's all I ate was their snack.
Yeah.
So, and it didn't do me any good. So, anyway, so I feel like at work, people are like, that's weird. And I was still getting used to the keto. So I had like butter in my purse and stuff. And it's like, okay, I think I need butter. And my bartender was like, Shannon, are you in the corner eating butter? And it's like, yeah. And oh my God. And everybody just thought it was the weirdest thing. Now they're getting used to it. But yeah, there's people that don't want to try it. But my sisters were watching me. And then my sister started January 1st, Timmy. She started January 1st, and she has cancer. She has a pacemaker. She was just so big. She was just so she had a second story. She never went down there for a year. Got on the carnivore, went downstairs, cleaned everything. I mean, she's just amazing. That girl's amazing. That's a story to listen to. But and then my other sister's having problems, but she's on it now. But I never thought that I would be able to talk them into doing it. And my sister, she's kind of judgmental on it. I have to like hide if I'm going to have cheese. We don't say anything to her, but it's like my sister is just so amazing. She looks so healthy. And I know you must be on a high all the time, changing people. But it was, I'm on a high that I'm saving my sisters. And if I could save other people, but I'm going to have my sister longer, I'm going to have my others, they're just going to be healthy. And what's a weird thing is we never talked we talked after my mom passed, we hardly talked to each other. Every now and then, like, hey, how's it going? We are so close every day, texting, hey, what's your beef today? We have to know. My sister's making like, she buys beef. She just bought chicken coop. She has all these chickens for her. I'm jealous of her, but it's just, my health, my sister's health, Bill. Me and him, we call each other Carney twins because we were born the same day. But did you hear his music the other day when he posted it?
I got goosebumps.
What goosebumps. Oh my, I thought that when he was doing Faithfully, I thought like Steve Perry was going to chime in. Beautiful. So beautiful. And if he never did it, all that talent would have just died with him. And it's sad. That man is amazing. He's just amazing. But that music, it was just, and I think he's trying to trick us, to tease us so we can keep on watching him. Because it's like, no, wait, don't stop. So
Shannon, I'm so with you. Jen and I watched that and we're like, it's done? What? More? What?
I know. He's like, it's Faithfully. And then it's like, what about it, Daisy? And I was like, no, not Daisy. I want to hear your music. So I think he has this thing where he's going to keep on. But what? Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I knew he was a talented guitarist.
Uh-huh.
But then when we went to film him, when Em and I just got back from filming him, he's like, I also play the piano, violin. He's like, I can pretty much play every instrument. He's so humble, and he always says something like that after the fact. Like,
I know. Well, people that do music, I play a little, guitar. I play that's what I thought he was doing. I was in a band when I was younger, and it's like, it was like he didn't lose anything. And if he did, oh my God, how amazing he was before. But
Right.
that when he was doing the guitar, it's like, I don't know what song that is, but it's just dancing on my ears. It was just,
Yeah.
he has to do that every time, right before Daisy, I think.
No pressure. I know Bill's going to be watching this, but I like any music that Bill does, I want to put in the documentary so bad because it's so perfect, and it would just be great having it from him. So he's considering it.
Well, if he plays the fiddle, I'm a country girl, so I would like to hear that.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Your story is incredible, Shannon. Oh my goodness, so much of the things that you're saying really resonate with me. Your hearing Bill's words and being able to resonate with the level of darkness and depression that he was sadly going through.
Yes.
Same thing for me. When I read the comment from him, I almost felt like the words that he wrote in the comment talking about his black hole, hopeless depression, I felt like those were my words. I'm like, this guy gets it. Like he knows. Because sadly in life, when you have horrible depression, most people don't understand it. I don't know if you experienced this, Shannon, but I did. And I don't blame the people. They mean well, but they'd be like, Carrie, just go for a walk. You'll feel better. I'm like, you don't understand the depths of this. I can't even stand up. I can't function. It's that deep and dark. And it sounds like Bill's description of his depression resonated with you. And similarly, it resonated with me as well. That's why it felt such a powerful connection with him and need to connect with him more. So.
Well, that face and then him just cry. I mean, I just wanted to break through and hold his face and go, it's going to be okay. I don't know how it is, but it's going to be okay. And I think when I started watching you, you were the very first person. And you were like, not even, I think at your 100th day or maybe just going over, but you were just so, you were just so on fire. And it was like, I have nothing to lose. I mean, I have nothing to lose. And so you inspired me, and I could tell like and your wife and her face, she's getting so much younger. You look like really young. And people at work will go, "Oh my God, you look so much younger," because that hurt and that pain. I mean, I know it's a way and whatever, but that the grief is gone. We have hope. And I remember I would store it right here, and it's just like, and I felt like I was squinting all the time from my, my pain of losing my daughter, and then the pain in my body, and just knowing that I didn't want to go down that road of, Social Security. I just can't do that. And I had a brand new, I had a baby that was coming. I had a granddaughter that was coming. And I have a grandson that's coming now, but I have so much to live for, but I just didn't know how to get back to good. I just didn't. But now it's like people go, "Oh my God, you look so much younger. Did you get work?" No. And I can see it on your wife too. She's just like, and then Bill, I mean, look at his face. It's just, it's incredible. You look like 20 years younger than, you just look amazing. But I do have to say that I just got out of the hospital 2 weeks ago because I had they flew me out. I had gallbladder there, but there was something that was okay. When I had the heart attack, they said there's something wrong with your gallbladder, but we're going to put that away. We need to fix this. And so when I was in the hospital, it's like, I know people are go, it's that diet. It's that diet. And it's like, I need to tell them it was pre-existing and it didn't get better, So, but, them trying to feed me in the hospital. And I watched a video right before, like 2 days before that. And it was about the kids and the cereal and this, and that's what they were trying to feed me in the hospital. And I went 3 days without eating because I was like, I am not eating this. And I couldn't get anything delivered to me because it was in Vegas. So it was a lockdown hospital. Nobody could get in. And so it's like, could I get anything delivered? No. And so could I just have scrambled eggs? I'll just eat your scrambled. I'm pretty sure that wasn't really scrambled eggs, but in my mind, if I could trick myself, just to eat that and their bacon. But it was like, they're all, you have before this, before the operation, you're going to have to get your levels right. And it was like, it was French toast. It was a muffin on top of that. It was orange juice, your sugar's low. You need to, it's like, no, I'm not gonna. I didn't want to heal and be sick on top of that, because I
Right.
did. I never told Bill. I never told anybody, but I did break my diet, and that was last Christmas. And we were going to have biscuits and gravy. We were going to have chocolate gravy. My family's country, chocolate gravy and biscuits. We were going to have all that. I was going to condense it all in one day. I was so sick. I was so sick for a week, and that pain came back in my hand that I forgot about. I forgot about that pain, and then the next day, it's like, oh my God, I forgot about that. So it took me a week to get feeling normal again. And it was like, I'm not going to feel like that and plus try to heal. But I had a daycare for 15 years. I was on the food program, and they would watch what we fed them at home. And if you did not feed those kids what you wanted to, you didn't get paid for that day. And I feel so guilty because of the junk the only one thing that I wasn't allowed to serve these kids were bar S hot dogs, but we all know that. But bar S hot dogs, and I had to do all the components, and it's like I had kids that so many kids in my daycare that were on the spectrum, and I'm just feeding them. Guilt. I feel guilt over that, even though I didn't know, and
Right.
sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, I find there's a lot of people, myself included, that have guilt, and then it's like you can't blame yourself. We didn't know, but
Mhm.
the regrets too, like with my children in particular, my goodness, if I would have been feeding them this way from birth, could you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah. And I just, and it's hard. It's hard to change them to eat normal. And it's just really sad. But you know what is a really weird thing that I just wanted to kind of bring up? But, I had RA, and it was really bad. I got really hit with it on 9/11, and they said it was from all the grief, and it just set in. But of course I have RA. You're born with it. But I went to France. I lived in France for 5 years, and I was always hit with it. I had bad days and good days, and I kept on losing babies because my body was rejecting babies. And I went to France, and I got pregnant, and I thought, I'm not going to get excited because I'm going to lose this baby. And I didn't have to take any special medicines. I had them, no problem. Never had a joint problem all the time that I was there. Not one. Come back, and within 3 months, I was sick again.
Mm,
I don't, it's just, I'm not a smart person when it comes to what they put in what. And I just know that what they're putting in, it's bad. It's really bad. So
right. It's one of those things in retrospect, you probably never would have figured it out then, but now that you kind of know what you know, you're like, oh, I was over there eating probably cleaner, and then I came back. But I never would have noticed anything like that before. It's weird how all those puzzle pieces sort of come together afterwards.
yeah, and like my family are farmers, and we lived in the country, whatever. None of my family back then were fat. They weren't, and we had biscuits, or they did, not me. I was the first person to be fat, but it was like they were good. They were so good. My dad was so strong, and he would go and work in the fields, come back. Nobody was fat then,
Yeah.
and then it just, of course, I was the one, the one that was, but it was like, and then we're eating the same thing, but it's just different outcome.
Mm,
And my grandpa lived until I think he was 95, my great grandpa. So
wow.
it's just, it's bizarre, and it's sad, and it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now, I go to the store, I go on the outside. I never go in unless I need my electrolytes or something like that, or maybe some seasoning. But I just go on the outside. I save a lot of money, a lot of time if I don't get pulled into the other side of Walmart and start shopping there. But it's just so easy. I eat beef. That's all. I started eating chicken and fish, and then it just kind of turned myself down to I think, you know what, I think I'm going to have shrimp. And when I get there, it's like, no, I'm having hamburger and eggs. It's just like when I get hungry enough, that's the best thing I want to eat. But I don't eat chicken, or I just kind of eliminated myself from that. It's weird how you do that, huh? Before
It's
you're
so
like,
funny how you're talking, because I did the same thing. I was doing
uh-huh.
chicken, shrimp. My first meal on carnivore was shrimp and steak, but I was doing chicken, shrimp, and steak, and exactly like you described. Now I'm basically lion diet. I do beef, salt, and water.
And I
Um,
didn't know I did that. I was just like, I think I'm Michaela Peterson right now.
right?
And it was just like, and then I saw all your hamburgers the other day, and it's like, what the, that looks so good. But it's like people, and then I thought, you know, oh, because to me, when people go, hey, let's go do this something, let's go eat. And now people understand me, but as soon as I get to that restaurant, I want either a steak, or I want patties, and then some, egg on each one. And that's all I have. And you could still talk to everyone. You could still be part of everything. And,
Right.
you know, so
Yeah,
I
I
did.
think a lot of people get nervous about social situations like that, and I've come to realize most people, sadly, they don't care about me. They don't care
Yeah.
about what I'm doing. They're there to
Yeah.
eat their food. They might look like, "Oh, that's kind of weird. He didn't get a bun," and then they kind of move on from there. But
Uh-huh.
it's
But I
interesting
have,
because it seems like on carnivore, we can hear our body and we're more in tune with it. So I think a lot of people naturally kind of go towards that more beef, because everyone that does it ends up feeling better. You feel great on carnivore with chicken and fish and everything, but you feel even better, or you can hear your body more
yeah, I
when you
feel
move
like
more
I'm
towards.
wasting time, and I'm wasting on chicken. I want,
Yeah,
I want to eat, and I want to eat it. I want it for my body. I feel like I would have to eat a lot of chicken
right.
to, so I just, it's just got down to that. I know it looks really boring, and I know but I did want to find out about your stew that you and your daughter make, because you guys it just seems like it's so good, but I don't know what to do. You just put pieces of stew
Yeah.
meat in your crock pot, or what?
It's so simple. It's funny because I'll just tell the story real quick. Over Easter, I was gonna make that, and I think it was my dad. He was like, "Nobody's gonna want to eat that. There's no seasonings, there's no spices. It's so boring." And we brought it to Easter, and I didn't tell anyone. Like, this was half the people there I didn't know. This was like a extended family kind of deal. But that's all it was. We get beef stew meat, which you can buy in the store already cut up, or you could probably cut it yourself. We put it in a slow cooker, and I put a stick of butter in it, and I put some salt on it, and then I
Mm,
cook it low overnight, and it just meat with salt and butter tastes absolutely incredible. I feel like I'm overhyping it, but we brought it to that Easter. Everyone was like, "Can I have your recipe?" Like, we had 5 people. "What's your recipe? What is that? What did you put in that?" And I'm like, "It's beef, salt, and water." It's like there's nothing even in it. But
uh-huh.
when you slow cook it that way to add some butter, it's pretty incredible. I think we overcomplicate things so much with all the spices and sauces and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it. And we probably have that. Geez, maybe once or twice a week. My older daughter Lily really likes it. She's got a full-time job now, so we'll throw it in at night on Sunday night, and then Monday morning before she goes to work, it'll all be all ready, and it's really good. Good leftovers too.
I too have a daughter named Lily.
Oh
So
wow, we have
yeah,
a lot in common. So
yeah,
I have
yeah,
four. I have 4 kids.
yeah.
Is
And
that
I lost but I did have triplets, and I lost them because of RA. But I did so.
wow?
But I just, your wife amazes me. It was like, oh, is she? But she's on it. She got it now. But I wanted to say something that you brought up, maybe two things about people. You have your family and stuff, and they're eating stuff, and you're all, oh man, because you love them so much. But the other thing is, and I thought I was just being maybe a snoot or what, but it would hurt my heart. Is I'm sitting on a bench, and I'm at Walmart, and I saw your story, but you said it a long time ago about these people that are walking in Walmart, and they're either in baskets, the electric, or they're hunched over, and they're so unhealthy, and you want to grab them and go, listen,
Yeah.
listen, I could help you, and you're just gonna look like a weirdo. But it's like, listen, but I do say, hey, try, just look at YouTube. You could, that's how I tell everybody, just start that. If this is what I do, watch YouTube. And I feel like that gets sucked in. That's how I got my sister sucked in. But it's like seeing these zombies at Walmart, and it's so sad. And it's like, listen, I got the key. I got the key for you.
Right.
And,
It's
you know,
crazy. I'm with
yeah,
you. I get so frustrated with it. I said it before. It's like we found like it's like there's a treasure chest of gold sitting right here, and the zombies are just walking by it, just completely oblivious. It's like it's right here. Like it's so powerful. And
I
yeah,
know.
sadly, a lot of people I found don't want to do this unless they're completely desperate.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for a lot of people, though, they get too desperate where something happens that you can't reverse anymore, like cancer or colitis or something like that. So,
And like, I've seen you guys say, just 1 month. It just took me 2 weeks. It took me 2 weeks. And I say it and I've never looked back, but that oopsie on Christmas. But it showed me, it showed me I can't do that. I just can't. And
right?
it showed me what I was in for, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. And I appreciate food. I mean, the food that working in a casino, you see a lot of pastries, and it's like you appreciate it and you go, oh, that looks good. But never would I ever, so
Yeah,
it's
doesn't taste as good as we feel on a regular basis without it, kind of thing.
and it just something that you love so much, it just carnivore just it stopped the noise in my head, and I don't want it, I don't crave it, I don't, it's when I'm hungry I eat and then I stop. When on Christmas I got so full and I forgot how full felt like. It was
Hmm,
miserable. It was miserable. I was like sitting straight up and like to the side. It's like I got to go to bed. Nothing was helping me, and
right?
it's like it was miserable. And
Hmm,
then I thought, when I eat, I don't eat and get full. It's just like, oh, okay, that's the last bite, and then I just go on. But that fullness, that's all, and I did that every day,
yeah,
But why did I like that? I don't know. It's weird. It's
yeah. No, I'm with you. That was one of my kind of carnivore epiphanies afterwards. It's like I think for the first time, I remember saying to Jen, I'm like, I feel like I don't have a stomach anymore. Like
uh-huh.
it's just gone. There's nothing there. And there was always some fullness or bloating or something always there. Like my entire life, that was the new normal. And then once it's gone, it's like, wow, this is normal. This is how it's supposed to be.
I know it's like sometimes I'm at my weight that I went for. But that is just not, before, being a girl, and you're just like, I need to get to my goal weight, and it's not even a thing anymore. It wasn't. It's like, okay, I'm to my goal weight, and I go to the gym every day. Except after I got out of the hospital, I have to wait, and the doctor said I can now. But for 6 months, I went every. I said I'm gonna see how I could change my body now that I'm on carnivore. But even though I've been on it for 6 months, this is a new thing. And I was watching. I was just watching my motivation things, and it's like, I wonder how my body's going to do in 6 months if I go every day, except 4th of July, they were closed, rude. And so I did it every day, and it's like, oh my God, my body is changing, and it's I feel so much stronger now, and I feel like my muscle built faster, and I because I was on carnivore.
Yeah.
I didn't have very much muscle memory. I think I had, my muscle didn't remember too much, but it did build. It did it did build. So yeah.
Yeah, that is something. I noticed it too, and I wasn't even really working out, and it just feels like it makes sense. If you look back in the day, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of the most famous bodybuilders of all time, he pretty much ate carnivore when he was younger. He just ate steak and eggs all of the time, and it's almost like a natural um, steroid. Like you just grow the muscles like crazy that way. So it's kind of
And do you
interesting.
find people that are watching you like, we'll see, you're gonna have a heart attack soon. We'll see. We'll see. And it's
It is
like,
the most frustrating thing in the world. I'm so thankful and blessed I get to do this and share these stories. And I get a lot of comments on my YouTube channel. We've had over 100,000 comments since I started doing carnivore videos, and they're overwhelmingly positive. But that is one I get over and over again. You're a ticking time bomb, and you're going to die any second now. And the crazy thing on that for me is I have literally reversed my congestive heart failure. And
Uh-huh.
people like, if you think I'm lying, I've shown my medical records. It's in my medical records before and after, and I reversed my irregular heartbeat, and I normalized my heartbeat. My heartbeat, I had tachycardia. It would beat like 120 beats per minute. It was just out of control before. That has been normalized too. Like
Uh-huh.
every measure, I'm 1,000 times better than before, but they still say it. Every single day I get those comments. You're a ticking time bomb. You're going to just have a massive heart attack at any moment for no scientific or logical reason whatsoever. But I'm like, you know what I tell people, Shannon? I'm like, if I had a contract right now and it said, sign this, you have 10 years left to live, and then you're going to die, but you can do the next 10 years carnivore, I would sign it and then I could just die because I'm going to be living to my fullest extent. Whereas before I was dying, I was literally dying and I was miserable and I was depressed and I wasn't living at all. So I think a lot of people can't relate to that unless they've sort of been there. But that was
Yeah.
going to be one of my questions I had for you. Was there a moment in your journey where you were like, whoa, something's happening. I feel different, or your mood's improving, or the depression's starting to lift? Was there like a clear moment where you remember?
Yes, within, within like my daughter coming to me and saying, you got to live, I felt like there was a light that came on and it gave me hope. But within that, after talking to the trainer, Bobby, and then him saying it's not too late, but doing that 2 weeks and then the month, it was like, I was so happy. I mean, I saw light. Me and my son, we decorated the house too much. And then I went on, like, they, to go see my sisters and stuff. And it, it just gave me, it lit my light up. It lit my light up to where I was just so happy. I was so annoying. I was so happy I was annoying. And
Hmm.
I felt like, I was either in like a cult or something, and I would go to people and they would be all like, oh my God, okay, all right, weirdo. And then, but it was like, because you just want everybody else to feel that too. You want it, and
Yeah.
oh, it's not sustainable. You're not, it's going to be like the keto that you were on. And,
Yes.
and it's like, it's just going to take time. People are going to see, I have to be a walking billboard for this, and people are going to have to see. But then when I had the gallbladder, it's like, God, please, Lord, because I knew they were going to do that. I was checking my
Yeah.
mail the other day, and I was checking I finally like got out of the house, and it's like, I'm going to go down and check my mail. And then my neighbor comes and she goes, how you feeling? And I'm like, I feel good. And, well, so and so told me that the doctor didn't tell you to change your diet. And it's like, oh my God. And I go,
Oh,
I don't need to change my diet. It wasn't my diet. I said this was before, and I ignored it. But it's like, I know when I get back to work, they're gonna say that. And I didn't want that. It wasn't anything that had to do with that. And it was just it was something that was a long time ago, and it just had to
yeah.
be taken care of,
I,
so.
I hate that. It's interesting that you mentioned that. That was one of my biggest worries with Bill. He was doing so good when we left a year ago, but I'm like, I have no doubt that Bill is going to stick to this and do it. But what if it's too late because he got to 700 pounds? He has heart issues already. He has pre-existing things. God forbid if anything were to happen, it would have been the same thing. This was the
Uh-huh.
carnivore that did. I lost a beloved uncle at age 14. He had a massive heart attack. But about 6 months before that, he quit smoking. He started eating better as best he could at the time. But he was doing, by all accounts and measures, way better than he was before. But sadly, it was too late for him. And
Uh-huh.
people wouldn't blame that on the fact that he's eating better and quitting smoking, right?
Mhm.
But with this, yeah, and it's so interesting with those things too, because people say that with if someone has like a heart issue or something like that. So many of these things that we have can take decades to manifest. Like with the gallbladder, gallstones, kidney stones, things like that. There's
Yeah.
so many of those things that could take forever. But people are like, "Oh, you've been doing this for 6 months. It must be the diet kind of thing." It is very frustrating.
I don't know how many days. I don't know how many days. I know it's over a year. I gotta ask Phil. Do you remember what day it was? Because at the beginning we were like, I remember, texting him. Like, I'm all almost 60 days, and I go, I never wanted to be 60 so bad. And then we would get there, and we get there. I remember those little days, And now I don't remember what day we started. I just know it was, So I know a lot of people will look and they'll, oh, this happened. You fell and broke your arm, but it's like, no, because I felt so good. I didn't know how to bottle. I mean, I was so excited. I just had so much.
Yeah.
My sister did the same thing. She fell on the street and got her. We fell the hardest that you could ever fall. Ever. When
Yep.
I hit my head, I was like, there goes my cheekbone. I'm not going to have a cheekbone. But we were we couldn't, it was like we didn't know what to do with our goodness,
Right. It's so funny. It's like, I don't know if you've seen my friend Lynn Tucker. She always jokes with Bill and she says, no hot dogging it, no fooling around. And I did the same thing a couple months into carnivore. We had this big pergola thing outside and I was doing like pull-ups and I was climbing on it. And I'm like, had too much energy. And at one point I was doing a pull-up and I fell and I hit my head really bad. And I attributed exactly what you're saying. I just have this crazy excess. It's almost like second chance at life, or you're getting to drive like the race car for the first time and you just want to go as fast as it'll go and see what you can do, sort of thing. It is interesting though, because a lot of carnivores end up injuring themselves for that way. So you gotta chill out a little bit.
My sister, she has this hole in her. I mean, it's where you put your dirty clothes and it goes down. I don't know what that's called. And so she was doing that, and she goes, and I was throwing in things that weren't even laundry, Shannon, down this chute. And so nobody went down there. And it was, I think the first month that she was on it, she went downstairs and cleaned everything. And she got everything organized. She goes, Shannon, there were so many things in there, like glasses and stuff, because she wasn't in her right mind. And then her grandkids went down there and they were like, oh my God, what's wrong with you, Grandma? And she's like playing with them. They're like, we like this, Grandma. And it was like within a month. And she said, downstairs, I found things. She goes, I'm surprised I didn't even find a kid or something down there. And it was ground zero down there. And now it's like she goes down and does her laundry. Her kids come and do their laundry down there because they wash and dry. But she said it was hoarding situation. And she did that within a month. It's like it makes your mind, it's not so foggy to where you're all, oh my God, I can't. So, and it taught me, because I was like that, like, oh my God, I can't do that. It's, oh my gosh. And now it's like, I know, take little things, little bites, and I can do it and I'll get through something. So it makes me manage things better. I've done so much better, but I have so much more work to go. But
it's an amazing benefit, because it almost seems like we're saying you eat meat and then you have this upgrade. But the thing I've realized, and I did an interview with Dr. Barry and he mentioned this, he's like, that would be the default for all humans. Like how incredible Shannon's feeling and your sister's feeling and I'm feeling. That's what's so sad about this, is that the majority of humanity, like you said, you go to Walmart, you see people, not only are they sick and have mobility issues and all this, but they're not fully there because they have that brain fog, that fatigue, and they're going to go their whole life. Imagine going your whole life never feeling that good. It's so sad.
It makes me sad that I wasted so much time and so much. I was engulfed in fat. I was engulfed in fluid. I was, and I'm happy that I found it. Thank God. But I just feel, why couldn't I found this early? I mean, I could have got so much done. I could have, it's sad, but oh well, Shannon, from now on, it's going to be good. So,
right.
I mean, I was always thinking, well, I got one foot in the grave and I didn't want to live, I didn't want to kill myself, but if I didn't wake up, that was all right, because I was going to be with my daughter and it's all good. But now I have to be a grandma now, and I have to be a kid, I have to be a mother to my kids that I have. And, I'm so much happier. Of course I get sad, of course, but it's like I have shiny in my head now. Things are shiny instead of dark. At work, people would say, oh my God, I would watch you and you'd walk and you just had this dark cloud over your head and you never laughed, and we missed you so much. And I couldn't shake it off. And I didn't have wise cracks. I didn't have comebacks, with all the people that I work with, and now I do. And it makes work fun. They would tell me, oh, when I knew that I was going to work with you, I was like, oh my God, because I was such a downer, but I didn't know anything else. That's all I felt.
Right.
So, but now I have these girls that I have mothers, they're cocktail waiters, but they still are mothers. And they'll go, honey, did you eat today? And I go, no, I got my meatloaf or whatever. And they'll go, well, we have a pizza. It's cauliflower crust. And it's like, oh, they want to feed me, but it's like, oh no. And they'll go, well, it doesn't have any sugar in it. It's like, no, it's okay. So.
Wow. Wow. I'm so happy for you that you found this healing. I could just see your joy and everything. It's an amazing thing.
I'm kind of goofy to everybody. I'm just a
Right.
weirdo, but oh well, I'd rather do that than. I just would rather do that. I put a thing for my sister. I made a video for, and I forget that people don't know what carnivore is. I wish it was a nicer name,
Yeah.
because my son goes, every time you say that, I feel like you're going to go "Arr, arr," like that. But it's like, I put it on her thing, and then somebody put, what's a carnivore? And it's like, oh my gosh, I should have like said something else under that. But people just think we're weirdos, but now they're starting to accept it. Now they're starting
Yeah.
to see, the weight loss, which, I don't know if I know it feels like, I don't know if you think that um, men do a lot better on the weight loss faster than.
I think so, 100%. I feel like it's easier for men than women, and I think there's like age, hormones, there's a lot that go into it. For sure. Yeah. I
And
totally
then
admit. And for me in particular, it happened. I'm not saying it's easy, but I think it was easier for me than a woman of the same age trying to do it or something like that for
when
sure.
I saw Jen's thing the other day where she's talking about, to measure not, it's like, okay, she's going through what me and my sisters were going through. And it was like the scale wasn't going, but we were. And how is that possible? I mean, where is it going? Why are we still like 2 pounds down, 2 pounds up? But I could see my clothes are how is that? But it was a long time. But it's like, oh, well, you know what? I feel good. It doesn't matter. And then I would talk to my sister and she go, well, I haven't lost weight, but at least I feel good. It's like, yeah, okay. But we still stayed on it. It was worth it. And then boom, we all, me and her went down to where we're supposed to be. And
Right.
but it was just like it just dropped, but it was like, oh, when are we going to see this on the scale? And I think I put it on one of your things where it's like, my scale is a narcissist and it doesn't want me to feel good about myself,
Yeah.
and I'm going to kick it to the curb because I don't need you. So I got rid of it, and then later on I bought a newer one that shows me my fat. So that was a little encouraging, but later but it's like, I don't need you. I don't need you to tell me how thin I am or how much I'm losing weight. But it's kind of scary to go that way. You're like, okay, I see it in the mirror, but maybe I'm fooling myself. But you go, something happens and you do go down. But it's like these ladies, and they're like, I haven't lost. I gained weight, and I did gain weight too. I mean, it was like 5 pounds, but that's sad when you're working so hard. But then
Right.
again, you feel so good. I've
Yeah.
never been on I don't, you don't want to say diet, but I haven't, I had the lap band and I didn't do this. My body rejected it because of the RA, but this is just, it takes care of everything. It takes
Yeah.
care of everything. And
Yeah.
it's free.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, right? When I first started this, I'm like, what are these doctors selling? Like, where do I got to pay for it? It's all free. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything in our lives that could be this powerful that is also just free. I get people that say, well, I can't find a doctor that'll help me do this. I'm like, you put food in your mouth, just put different food in your mouth. It's
Yeah.
literally free. The weight thing is very interesting because I've been learning more about that too. You can lose, you can gain muscle, lose fat, and then it won't show on the scale, but that's actually really good progress. The other thing one of the doctors was telling me, your body composition can change, and you your body, maybe if you're not losing weight, you may still be making progress in that your body's healing. So maybe like with your gallbladder, for example, so one of these doctors was telling me, like, the human body is so smart, it's going to prioritize healing before weight loss. So like with Bill, if he has lymphedema or his knees bothering him, it may be attacking that before he loses more weight, sort of thing. But yeah, I think it's definitely a lot harder for women. It's so weird too. Some of it doesn't make any sense. Like, people that are fasting and no weight comes off whatsoever, they'll fast for a couple of days and like nothing comes off, and then all of a sudden just boop, it just comes off. No rhyme or reason to it.
And then when, I have to go to my doc, I have a regular doctor, and then I have my RA doctor. And then it's like, before I have to get blood tests done. And when you go, you get excited to go to the doctor because you're just sitting there waiting. They're going to come in with your blood test, and you're all, can't wait until he comes in. And then he's on point. Everything is on point. And it's like, but then you tell him, and then they're like, RA doctor, he's just like, what a weirdo I am. But I mean, it helps. It's making me live, and I'm not coming. My hands are not puffy. My knees are not so big. They're normal size because my RA is not flaring up. It's not. So I don't have that pain in my hand, but he'll look at me side-eyed when I tell him, because I want him to tell everybody else that comes in.
I was going to say the same thing. It's so frustrating, right? Because you're like, I'm healed. I went to my doctor and I'm like, I'm healed. I don't care about myself anymore. But then I'm like, I'm pretty pissed off actually, because the next person that comes here that has the same suffering that I had, you're just going to throw pills at them again. It's so frustrating.
And I remember seeing you at the beginning, and you're like, look at all these pills I have. And I had the same. How do you remember that? And I remember like first trying to take it. Your mind is so foggy because you're taking all this medication. You're going to get sucked into their, you're going to drink their Kool-Aid, and you're going to feel crappy. And then you're going to take more pills. I was just going to end up sitting like in front of my TV, living with, one of my kids, because I can't take care of myself, and looking like a weird grandma. And I'm going to be so sick and so heavy and so in a fog. And it was just like I had to shake my head and go, no, I'm not going to take all that. And I kind of like, maybe I should, but it's like, no, I'm going to take a stand. And I just like threw them away. No oxygen. I don't need nothing. I'm just going to start walking a little bit. I'm going to do this. And I went with my gut, and you and Bill. And it was like, that's what I needed. No medication. I don't need nothing. So
you're pretty good friends with Bill. You said you've been chatting with him?
Oh yeah, all the time that and I had, when I went back to work for a little bit, I got busy, it's hard to I was just like hanging on everything and watching all these videos. So when I went back to work, it was like, I knew that the days that he would drop and I would watch his videos, but sometimes I couldn't get to it. And I remember him going, hey, my Carney twin, I haven't heard from you for a while, but it's like, oh, I didn't want him to think that I fell off. I'm still with you, but I did, life happens. I think it was like 2 months before when I haven't, been on, but I watched him all the time, and I had my sisters watch him all the time, and they'd go, do you know that Daisy's a boy? And it's like, what? And I love to hear his voice go into like that little voice when he's
Daisy voice, yeah.
This big beautiful man, and then it goes down to this Daisy, and it's like, that is so cute. But that picture that you took of him with his hands, open, oh my God, that was amazing. And I love that he didn't wait for you to get out of that place. He didn't wait for you. I mean, it was before a year, and he had to go on and, scurry by himself. But it's like, I pictured you coming and you filming, and your daughter like filming him come out. And it was like, he just couldn't wait for that. It was sooner than that.
I'm so glad too, because I was telling him from the beginning, I kind of foolishly like, oh, we'll just go film him when he comes out, not thinking it's going to maybe be some baby steps, and then he's going to go a little further and a little further versus. So I'm so happy with how it worked out. But we filmed him coming outside of his door, not for the first time in several years, but it was really the first time he was going out to really true freedom, because we took him to that Hatcher's Pass where he had his hands up in the air. And I cannot wait, Shannon, to share that with you and
I
the
can't
world.
wait. I
Oh
can't.
my goodness. It was, talk about providence or something being bigger than us. That whole thing with Bill was, we were sitting there, John was filming and I was filming, and just tears were pouring down. And I had all these questions for Bill,
Uh-huh.
prepared and re-prepared. I'm doing them on the plane. Cross this one out, next one, rip them up and throw them out. Like, he got out, put his hands up in the air. He just started crying and just pouring his heart out. It was the most beautiful, true, real thing I've ever seen.
He,
So
he's
a
just
little
a
bit of a spoiler alert, but that's going to be in the documentary. But you already know it. I think everyone does. He's the most genuine, awesome, incredible. People are like, "Oh, Carrie, it's so good what you did for Bill." And I'm like, I'm getting more out of the Bill relationship than he's getting from me. He is the
me
most
too.
amazing person.
Me
I
too.
have talked to him every single day since we filmed him a year ago. Like, we're like best friends now. We're just talking all the time. He's like my big brother. We were counting down because we were gonna go back in a year, but he's like, no, actually, like 10 months. He thinks he's gonna be ready to like really be at his goal and get out there on the mountain bike and do everything. So any day now, he's gonna text me and be like, down to 9 months. We're gonna get closer and closer. So I can't wait
He's
for that.
just, and you feel he's beautiful inside and out. He's such a gentle giant. That's what he
Yeah,
is. He's just a gentle giant. And then he plays that music on top of that. Come on. I mean,
yeah.
and nobody was going to ever hear that. Nobody, I mean, he just like stifled that down with all, what a waste. What a waste that would have been.
I know I hype up carnivore, but that is one of my most happy things about all of this carnivore, because prior to doing carnivore, I wouldn't have made a decision to pursue Bill and go get his story and film him and do any of that. And I
Mhm.
was just thinking about that with my wife, Jen. I'm like, what if it was so close when the Bill thing came up because it was so expensive to go film in Alaska. I'm like, this guy
Oh, I
sounds
bet.
really cool, but it was 3 weeks. It was so close to where that never would have happened. And I'm like, what, just for me personally, what a loss, but for everyone, you included, Shannon, that were inspired by Bill, that would have lost out from just being lazy or being in a brain fog and be like, I can't think about it now. We're just not going to do this Bill thing. It's
Uh-huh.
one of my
No,
happiest.
you were like on it when, I'm not making fun of you, but that one thing where you said, oh, come on, Bill, you can do it. You can do this. And it was like, I was saying it too. And it was like, come
Yeah.
on, please. And that's where you got me. It was that. And it was just, everybody fell in love with the gentle giant. He was just those eyes and him crying. And it was just, I'm so happy for him. I'm just so
Yes.
happy.
When he was on Hatcher's Pass and he put his hands up and he was crying, I went up and hugged him afterwards, and I didn't have anything prepared. And that's exactly what I said to him as I was crying. I'm like, I'm just so happy for you, so happy for you, beyond happy for him. He's the nicest guy in the world and deserves it. And man, to live, it's so beautiful there in Alaska. It's
Uh-huh.
indescribably beautiful. You can't capture it on a camera, and to be trapped in your house with that
Uh-huh.
right outside your window, I can't imagine. So yeah,
Yeah.
so we're both Bill Nott fans. Well, I'm so
Yes.
happy. I wish we had more time. This flew by. I feel like I'm talking to an old friend. I'd love to have you back on the channel sometime, or we could talk some more. You know what we have to do, Shannon?
Huh.
No pressure. I know Bill's going to watch this. We got to get a video with Bill. You, me, and Bill. That would be awesome.
Oh,
He's a
oh
little
my gosh.
shy. He keeps telling me I'm going to lose a little more weight, and then I'll do more videos like live streams or with other people, like interview style.
He
But
does so good though. He does so his his um commercial that he does when he starts talking about I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, I don't know.
element,
But
yeah, yeah.
it's like I instantly go into coasting. It's so calm, and it's like left and right, it's like
Yeah.
he's so good at that.
He
He could
was
do like a
so he
5
was so nervous for us to go film him. I was almost like, geez, should we just stop this? And then the second we turned the camera on, I'm not trying to hype him up. I'm being completely genuine. It was like an Oscar-worthy performance. It was like perfect. He just spoke and it just flew out for like 15 minutes. And I'm like, why are you so nervous? Like, think about that, Shannon, too. I was talking to Jen about this. I'm like, what are the odds that we happened to film Bill? I didn't do a whole bunch of research and had 100 people. I'm like, let's pick this guy because he's good. It was just like, no, this is just, let's go film Bill. What are
Yeah.
the odds that he would be that good on camera, that he would follow through with this? He could have quit 2 months into it, that he would be genuinely one of the nicest people in the world. Like, all of these things, it just goes back to what Bill always says, providence. There's something bigger happening here. It's just amazing.
And it's like all that talent that he has. And then a year and a half ago, it was nothing. I mean, it was him by himself laying in a bed, his brother's taking care of him. He's so lucky he had people that loved him, but it was like, I can't imagine what they think. They must be so happy for him.
Yeah.
But,
well, when we filmed him too, I'm sorry, I don't want to make this all about Bill, but when we filmed him a year ago, that was his big thing was, what is my purpose if I'm just stuck here in the house doing nothing? So to go from that, it's amazing that he's lost all the weight and he's outside now. But I'm like, Bill, what's your purpose now? People like Shannon are changing their lives forever because they were inspired by your video. He gets so many comments like that. Before we went to Alaska, I had 5 comments on my channel that said, Bill Nott's video saved my life. I did carnivore, similar to what you said, Shannon. So I'm like, Bill, to go from what's my purpose in life to now you're literally saving people's lives from inside your house, just with a little camera. It's incredible. It's just amazing.
And to watch him starting to do everything with his camera and everything, and him doing like things like kind of tilting or, it's like you learned with him, he was such a beginner, but you were with him to watch him, do all this stuff. And he's just an everyday person. And I don't know, he's just, it makes me sad that he just not wasted, he stayed by himself all that time. I mean, he's such a good person and so talented. And I'm so happy for him. I can't wait to see him on a bike.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. And you're going to see him on the 4-wheeler. You've seen him a little bit, but the footage we got on the 4-wheeler, it's one of my favorite shots from the documentary. There's one point where we aim the camera at him and he just has this huge smile on his face on the 4-wheeler. And he's just zooming, probably too fast and a little dangerous, just zooming through the woods on that 4-wheeler. It was just incredible.
And then to watch him shopping, going grocery shop, it's like
getting recognized. Yep.
And he just couldn't wait for you. He just couldn't wait for you. So, and I'm so happy for him. I'm just so happy.
Me too. Well, that's awesome. We have a similar best friend too. So this has been great, Shannon. I wish we had more time. I really enjoyed talking to you. You have an open invite. We should do this again. I'm going to definitely be sharing this with Bill and just say, hey, maybe we do a call with Shannon sometime, and maybe he'll be up for it. He's getting really close to wanting to do one, so we'll see.
Yeah. Could I just say one thing? I don't know. You could kick this out if you want. But the man that started, my phone is ringing. The man that helped me, the Bobby Moore.
Yeah.
He has an Instagram. Could I put his
100%? Yeah, I was just going to ask you anything you want to shout out at all. I'll put it in the description below, and we'll put it on the screen too.
Okay, he has an Instagram, and it's lowers B strong, live long. And it's his Instagram. He trained me when but he said, I want to pay it forward. We worked together, and he said, you were always so kind to me. We work in butchery, and he said, you were always so kind to me, and I want to repay you and pay it forward. So I just wanted to do that for him because he's
100%.
amazing.
Yeah, happy to. We'll shout it out. We'll put it in the description and in the video. Okay. Is there anything else you want to shout out or mention before we wrap it up?
No, just I don't have any. I want to shout out to my children that have been so patient with me, Parrish, Lily, and Jonah, and they've been so patient. And I do have to say this, that I felt so bad being, in my oppression and being weird in my head and being crazy. And my son told me, Mom, you don't owe us anything, because they took care of me financially when I had my heart attack and helped me. And you don't need to say that. Just seeing you live is good enough. And I just hope that I can help somebody else that is going through, losing their child, grieving, and, having RA, heart attack. It gets better. It so gets better.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shannon. You're going to inspire a lot of people, I'm sure, but the comments will start coming through. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Shannon,
okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.